Wow. Thank you, Justice Garman. First, Arnold Blockman, would you come up and read my speech for me?
I think you've had enough from me.
To Justice Garman, you all know she's going to be retiring soon, and it is such an honor that we have you with us. You're also a pillar of this Bar Association, and I can't imagine a better member of our court for all of these years, and for a number of years. You've been the longest serving judge in the state of Illinois, and whenever someone says that, of course, I know it's true, because I know everything you've done, but you just don't look like you're old enough to. You all agree with me, right? I want you to know that the lawyers and judges in this state will continue to look to you as a model of integrity, of character, and of professional excellence. There just has been no better member of the court, in my opinion. To my fellow recipients, congratulations. Wendy, Judge Ladd, Judge Baker, you are so worthy of this distinction, and the fact that your names will forever be associated with this award makes it all the more valuable to me. Thanks to the Pillar Committee for including me in this year's class, and also to the CCBA board, which works year in and year out to make the Champaign County Bar Association one of the best local bars in the whole state of Illinois. And I've seen a lot of them, and I think we are one of the best. Since the first class of pillars was introduced in 2006, the Champaign County Bar Association has had two presidents, John Gatta and Emma Durantes. And they're both very special presidents in the history of this bar. I believe strongly in this program, but I don't think it would have existed and be held in such high regard without the leadership of John Gatta and Emma Durantes. So I want to thank you two for keeping this program as significant to all the members of the bar. This award is a special reminder of how all members of our profession, judges and lawyers, should aspire to excellence in their day jobs, but also to seek to make significant contributions to our profession and our community. And in my experience, these characteristics are quite typical of the members of the Champaign County Bar Association, as well as lawyers and judges throughout our state. This has not happened by accident. I believe that it's part of our culture. I'm fortunate to have come from a family of lawyers, and several of the speakers have mentioned that. My grandfather, Charlie Weber, was a county judge. And actually, when he was a county judge, believe it or not, you could simultaneously represent clients, and he did that. I don't think that ever happened in the same lawsuits. I learned that a few years ago. Few in this room knew my grandfather. He died in 1991. But he had an enormous influence on our community, not the least of which was he facilitated the development of Lincoln Square. But he was also president of the Illinois Probate and County Judges Association, which later became the IJA, the Illinois Judges Association, which Justice David Overstreet from the Supreme Court will be president of in a year or two, I think. I think he's going to be the second sitting Supreme Court justice ever to chair the IJA, and that's a tremendous accomplishment, and also a statement from the court as to why that organization is so important. By the way, back to my grandfather. So his oldest child is my mother, Marilyn Thies, who is the matriarch of our family, and she is here tonight. So this is my mother. Many of you did know my dad, Dick Thies, who died about a year ago. His footprint on the profession was even broader, including through his efforts on behalf of lawyers and judges at the national level. He also cared deeply about our community and mentored dozens, if not hundreds, of lawyers and law clerks. Both my grandfather and my dad were terrific examples to follow in our firm, which has included over the years my uncles Craig and Carl, and also my brother David, and then most recently my nephew Daniel. These individuals and the other members of our firm have tried to continue this tradition of professional and community excellence, a great source of inspiration for me every day. We have a number of members of my firm family who are here, and I also want to thank and recognize each of them for the wonderful support that I get from them every day. So congratulations to the firm as well, and you can join me in applauding them. And now I just have a few thank yous for those who I am closest to. I am the fourth of 5 siblings, and we all married up. No matter where we have been spread, from Hong Kong to Oregon to even Champaign, believe it or not, the 10 of us could not be a tighter bunch, including through the addition of children and now grandchildren. I am thankful each day that our parents decided not to stop at 3 children. Or even 4, because my sister Ann, who is number 5, is really the coolest of all of us. They're gonna watch this on tape, so I gotta say something. I'm thankful that every one of my siblings and their spouses are superstars to me. And they too inspire me in everything that I do and have ever done. Let me finish by saying something about my wife Terry and our daughters Katie and Caroline. Katie and Caroline, there's nothing better than being your dad. You also challenge and inspire me, and you make life a lot more fun almost all the time. Caroline, who is our younger daughter, is teaching dance this summer, and her students are performing tonight and tomorrow at Follinger. And so Caroline is off wrangling a bunch of 7-year-olds. That's where Caroline is. But Katie is here. There's Katie. So I want to tell you a quick story about Katie. So she was 7 when I ran for ISBA 3rd Vice President. And when we were at the annual ISBA meeting at Lake Geneva, which I know most of the people in this room have attended that meeting at one point or another, 7-year-old Katie would walk up to strangers and introduce herself like she was the candidate. So she'd go, "I'm Katie Thies. Don't you know me?" And she actually was probably a better campaigner than I was, and I'm sure got a few votes that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So, for those of you who know her, it's no surprise that the most important part in this story is my wife, Terry. By the way, Terry is at the back of the room because yesterday was her 5th day of the COVID quarantine. She got COVID last week. And always thinking about it, she didn't want to sit at a table where she would take off her mask to eat, so she's way back in the corner, hanging out with the Beckett crowd. So in 2012, the odyssey of running the 2nd largest voluntary bar association in the United States began. That's the ISBA. Many of you were actively involved with us that year, and for that I will be eternally grateful. If done right, being ISBA president is a full-time job, and Terry has been a big part of that experience, not just because she was the best of sounding boards, but as mentioned, she also chaired the Lawyers Feeding Illinois project. Lawyers Feeding Illinois had a goal as it started of achieving 1 million meals. And when Terry came home one day and said, we're gonna raise 1 million meals through this project. And I didn't know what number we should put on this, but that seemed like an awful lot to do for a bunch of lawyers and judges. As Justice Garvin mentioned, the total that we ultimately achieved in Lawyers Feeding Illinois was 4.6 million. So often as president, when I would go to a particular area around the state. My day would include speeches and media interviews and perhaps a visit to an editorial board. But the day would frequently begin with me going along with local bar leaders, local lawyers and judges to the local food bank. This is always what seemed to make the news, though. It wasn't what I might have been talking about relating to the substantive law projects that we worked on. But it made the news, I think, because it showed what lawyers and judges were doing to directly impact the fabric of their communities. And that revealed a lot about the character of our profession along the way. And I say it revealed a lot about the character because I already knew the character of lawyers, which is part of why we did that project. I knew that it was in the character and the DNA of members of our profession to be involved in their communities. And what Lawyers Feeding Illinois did, aside from achieve an enormous amount for folks that didn't have enough to eat, it also showed us to be who we really were. The ISBA emphasized a lot of substantive law initiatives that year, from producing a seminal report on law student debt, to working on court funding and judicial disqualification standards, to beating back an effort on a national level to change Rule 5.4 and allow for non-lawyer ownership and fee splitting with non-lawyers. We did all of those things. But as it should be, the thing that's most likely to be on Terry and my gravestone is Lawyers Feeding Illinois. And that is due to my wonderful wife, Terry. Thank you for this honor.